Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters PUBG Invitational as Game 1 is in the history books. DC able to take the first win with 15 kills in total, 450 points bagged. How will they fare moving into game number 2? I'm still joined here by Avenger and Steel. I keep saying that, but they're going to be here all the time throughout these next 2 days. Happy to have you here all over. And for now, what we saw from DC there was a phenomenal performance. Whether or not they keep it up going into the next game is debatable because of how the circles are going to work out and stuff like that. But looking at how DC and particularly AAA, those two teams were able to perform in that last game, that's certainly a strong statement moving forwards.
Yeah, it's a very strong statement, and I think that they're just going to continue playing their own game. And it feels like most of the teams here did come in with whatever plan they had from online. Yeah. They just applied it here. And I think we're going to see this going forwards for the next few matches because the only early conflict we really saw was TSM losing a couple players early, and there might have been a couple of other fights. But for the most part, everyone was kind of left on their own, did their looting, and then migrated. To that point, I mean, Avenger, when you look at that, are you thinking that some people might kind of change up their positions? Obviously, TSM very well known for going to things like Georgia Paul and stuff, but if they're losing out on people like that, with these kind of points in mind as well, what do you think going into the next drop?
I think also it's really depending on the plane. Okay. Because if we see a plane that they can't get to North George, for example, like they were last game, I think they're going to do something different. I don't know what, but I have speculations. But definitely seeing these DC guys racking up 15 kills is really a strong statement moving forward. Yeah, you could see Wind and Rain there. They've got themselves 8 kills, about 10th place, I should say, while that was going on. Meanwhile, unfortunately for a team like TSM at the very bottom there, looking to try and pick up a bit of momentum. So TSM isn't the kind of team that's going to settle for that last place at all by any means. They're going to be coming out and trying to get themselves a much better placing. Right, but with how the game is inherently, you're going to end up having some, really good results and then some really bad results. It all comes down to, when you have to move, are you going to be unlucky and run into some opponents? And that's what happened at TSM. They never lucky. They ended up running straight or driving straight into the opponents. They didn't really have a chance to make it to late game. So they're going to try to probably ensure that they do make late game. Maybe they're going to drop a little bit safer. Maybe they're going to look for vehicles earlier and then go to their desired loot places instead of trying to float all the way. And of course, a team like Liquid, not getting the most amazing positioning there or whatever, but they had some pretty good circle look when it came to, say, like the third circle, etc. But they moved really well, and they took a really good compound in the first and the second circle, but they were not lucky. They got breached a lot of times. They had to move, and they were just really lit. Difficult times. Any maybe predictions before we go into the second game? We're almost ready. I think Digital's in a really good place moving forward. I think they're going to go with another top 5 game here, for example. And AAA. AAA. I believe AAA. Yeah? You think AAA is going to be able to do well? Oh, yeah. Yep. I mean, they were certainly able to do well in that previous game. Of course, racking up the kills, being able to take out someone like FaZe. What do you think about FaZe in that position? Obviously, that's got to rattle a few cages somewhere. Either FaZe is angry, or what do you think? I'm angry because the 3 of them went out in a vehicle, and I'm before the show, I'm saying you got to ditch those cars. You're either all in a car or none of you are. Right? All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time now to go over to game number 2. Let's get it going, Oakland, as we find out who's going to be able to rack up points. Over to the casters.
They're going into houses right by each other. If Penta's lucky and grabs the right AR, that could be in trouble for TSM.
At this point, shotguns, your trash loot is very, very viable. You see level 1s here and there. I think they're already level 1 up armor. I can't see right now, but I'm pretty sure I saw a level 1, maybe a helmet or 2. This is the scrappy fight. Keep your eyes on the north. I know there's going to be action going throughout. I want to see if they're aware of where these guys are. It looks like already Froz has got a bit of a tag going on, so there has been a bit of a scrap here. Very early game. Both these teams are tipped to be top 10, so again, you're taking big risks here.
Absolutely, and for some of these teams that didn't perform the way that they wanted to in the first game, getting some extra kills out of this early game can really help them bump up. We saw how many points extra DC. We saw AAA finishing in 2nd place over Tempo Storm because of points. So points are huge in this tournament.
And I will say one thing for TSM. Normally they're very good at isolating areas within the North Georgia Pole sort of thing. If you ever play this game and you go to North Georgia a lot, you know that it's kind of compounds, right? There's areas you isolate it between. No helmet on Ultra yet, but level 1'd up. At least vest-wise shotgun. He's going hunting as well. He's looking for what he can, but obviously you're sweeping and clearing as you go. Looking at the rest of the map, though, this is a lovely circle, at least in my eyes. Very happy to see this. Let's pop that map up as soon as we can and have a look at that so you guys at home know it. Nice and central. That's what you want to see. Keep a lot into play. Not too much water.
Absolutely.
And, you know, just keep it building for these teams. That's very, very good to see.
Tons of loot points. Nobody has an exceptionally long distance to travel, which means they can go into fighting the way that they want to go into fighting, and that is going to be huge.
Also looking at teams like Method, good positions now. They can slow loot through Pachinki. We know they love Pachinki. They used to do that with Raptor. That's nothing new. That's very much a classic for them. So they'll slow loot their way away. The east side will be fun. There could be a crunch to happen there once that first circle swings in. Curious where those rotate spots are, where they like to transition towards.
I do want to point out School and what's going on there. Ninjas in Pajamas did jump into Alliance's traditional landing place, took over the School, pushed Alliance north into Razak, and they themselves. And so Liquid now is going to have to sort of be very careful out here as they loot what we sort of call the Liquid compound in that area.
Hook's got schooled himself. Yeah. Can you just like take a second to appreciate one guy in school with a center plane?
You know, Alliance likes to try to do that, but what Ninjas did is they dropped in multiple players, scared Alliance into Razak, and now Borg gets to just walk around like the king.
No, he's a scary guy.
He's homecoming king, and he's not letting go.
Dear God, the dad jokes are out, aren't they?
It's what I live for.
It was a matter of time. EG having a lovely time as well down in the south. You've got a crate dropping in, which is pretty much theirs if they fancy it. Plenty of time on the looting, no problem there. Transitioning off the island in this circle gets a little tricky, okay? The bridge has become a problem to a degree. You've got to keep your mind open and you know, be very aware. There's ways to rotate. Let's keep our eyes on the Alliance NIP situation. Yep. Got Wind and Rain, LG, Alliance. There's so much in that centerpiece to keep your mind on here, because that could just kind of, you know, set fire at any moment.
Absolutely. Alliance puts priority on getting a car and making sure that they can get out of that situation. Sigsy already has picked one up. We'll see him rotate around to kind of get his guys up and running, but he's got to be careful because, like we've talked about, it's 1.5 AR. That means that traditionally you have about a minute and a half to try to get your team into a car safely and out of there. With the AR spawns and the rate of ammo, it's not as safe as it used to be.
All right, so we've got Cloud9 starting to make their move. You can see the two cars on the go. You've probably seen them heading a little up towards maybe Ferry Pier, scrap possible there. The thing you've got to keep eyes on is TSM and Penta, because one, you do get cars up there, that's not the problem. The Darcy are ringing out. We actually do have the first kill come in. T-Bone as well actually had a big score on that first game too. So nicely done from him to get himself warmed up into this. But again, if you do miss out on the car, one of these two teams will be suffering. You can see it looks like TSM heading a little further north as well, just to get maybe that car going. Oh, Sigsy! Do the roll. Come on. Hey! First one of the tournament. Thank you, guys. You know, CSGO is all rowdy behind us. We're just like golf clapping a turned car. Right. No, I like it.
Sigsy just wanted to pull up to his compound in style. He's like, you know what? I'm good. I'm in the circle. I don't need the vehicle anymore. So what I want to see what happens is you see, if you look at the map right now, C9's transitioning. This is a possible hold spot for them that they can try to sort of block out the transition from EG off of Military Island. And now we're going to jump to, it looks like Ronin.
Fight. Wow. Yeah, and that's a lovely gun. The 16 with the 8 times. You know you're going to be landing these shots pretty nicely. Better travel time than the 8K. The run comes in. You got to lead those shots as best you can, and you can see the Serpentine going out. Oh, return fire. Outstaying his welcome. Looks around, panicked, has to back away, find a new position, and kind of calm it down. Again, he's not in the safe zone either. He's got a little way to go, but not far.
And he's not with his team. He is separated by all of Crimson. The rest of his team is in Lipovka, and he's got to try to cross to get to them. So Crimson locking him out, playing that gatekeeper role.
Yeah, the problem is that when you take a fight with the blue to your back, again, this is something that if you're an experienced player, a higher, I guess, like tier player, you don't want to take fights with the blue on your back because it's another opponent. You're forced into it. You kind of position yourself so you can be the man on the other side. We've seen what the sprays have been doing so far. This is that nice little smallish compound. It's like 4 to maybe 5 buildings in this one, but it's a nice little pickup here from Tempo Storm. They're seeing the cars go by. The AK is about 30 bullets to take that one down. The spray comes in, but you're not getting much done damage-wise, really. The cars will continue to go through, but look how central these guys are going. Pop up that map if you can. No one's playing really extremities on this. Look how central these guys are. And there's NIP, obviously, they're going to be working their way down. Probably the furthest south, or some of the most further south teams, but these guys are going very much in the middle, looking at kind of like your Pachinki fights coming out. That's going to be a big one. Method, Luminosity Gaming, they're going to be in there. Wind and Rain, got to spin onto that one too, because the shots will be coming through for them pretty much right about now.
Absolutely. Ninja's Pajamas got a good complex here. We just saw them take that over. But this whole middle area, it looks on the map like it's very condensed and everybody's on top of each other. But really, there's probably about 200 meters between a lot of these teams, except for FaZe is now pulling up on Ninja, so that might be a problem for them. Meanwhile, Pachinki is still in the circle, very comfortably held by Method. They had no contest to take this place. They needed a game like this to sort of get themselves, I think, back up and running the way they wanted.
Absolutely, and it looked like Luminosity were eyeing it up for a while, but they've just kind of gone, there's no point working into this. It's very hard to work your way into Pachinki if you don't have someone stepping towards it. And look at this, only one player lost so far. The caution really begins. You know, you know how pressured it is when you're at home playing this game, let alone here with the audience, with the crowd, with the noise, with the real money on the line. So again, these guys keeping themselves ready. In this one, you can see Cloud9 not far off. You're going to start seeing everyone kind of getting these houses, fighting for them, contesting. But you still have the northeast side. You've got that still fighting. That's with T-Bone up there. You've got Ronin up there. And you've got the northwest as well. TSM, Penta, a couple of Noble up there still as well.
I do worry a little bit about Method. So Method's in Pachinki. The problem with Pachinki is getting out is very difficult, and that may cost them big time. It looks like Digital Chaos got 1 man, 2 men just sort of standing here. So that'll be a pickup. He's got the rest of his crew coming.
But this is dangerous. Liquid have probably, they've got a nice position up here. Look at these bikes as well. And they might hear this car coming soon. It's just off towards the kind of like northeast side. Yeah, you're going to hear them respond now. This could be an absolute shooting gallery. Scoom's still going to be picking up some meds. Thanks, Scoom. Don't worry about helping
behind
your team.
a rock.
Yeah, it's something we're used to now. And DC do look like they're going to get away. No, Hollywood, he caught you, and who's one of the top fraggers going in for DC before, straight up killed him with a vehicle explosion. Great work from Liquid, and especially Hollywood, a classic in this one. But again, good stuff for Liquid for themselves to get onto the board. But again, if you look at it from DC's side, they had a great performance before, but it looks like Wind and Rain as well catching out players here. They're having a tough round this time.
It's just a little bit of an update. We don't even have to go to it. Earlier, Mini Fridge was in that strange fight where he was cut off from his team. He finally lost that fight. Crimson took him out, so he will not be coming to the late game. We see Cornshuckers already in combat. Liquid has a really good position. Liquid, if you know anything about this team, they love getting to middle circle. This is the way that they play. They loot fast, and they're willing to go with a little less gear, but a little more time to make sure that they can control the map. And this is the first time I've been able to see them do that.
Yeah, I'm glad to see someone like Liquid as well playing the kind of plateau at this point. It's actually a nice position. It's you can get kind of like corner flanked on it. It's very hard to kind of keep all angles safe, but they've got that nice little rock, dig themselves in. Good area to catch people transitioning, and this is a highly centralized map. If you keep your eyes on this one, as I said, there's still about 200 meters between most teams, but you can see that big cluster starting to form. No one's playing edge games. Fairy Pier's out of it. No one near Quarry, no one Gatka. It's very much focused and centralized towards this kind of south side of the main island.
And when you see Cornshuckers right now, because they did go to war with Alliance, but Alliance did the right thing. They left, they found a new position. So we're going to jump on over and see what Austin's got some good shots, so he's doing a good job. This complex is very strong if you can hold it aggressively and get there early. So they're going to lock that up and make sure that, you know, they're comfortable going into the circle, as we see. No one on the outside of this thing.
It's also about not making yourself the center of attention in these situations, right? Most of these compounds are going to be contested or wanted, but the big point is that you don't want to be the one taking every single fight out there. You've got to pick your fights, take your time on it. And again, smart, experienced players will be getting that. They'll get that going. They'll get that feeling going. But again, if you're young coming into this, you're excited, you want to get those shots, you want to get those kills, you start taking needless fights. But let's keep our eyes on what's going on here. NIP got themselves pretty well situated in the end. Split up throughout these houses. It's not the end of the world. They're in a good spot here. Don't really need to take too many fights. And I like the way they're not all in one house. They, they're split up nicely. Again, it's not too surprising to see like 2-2 splits. Method, love that. Big fan of it forever, since the very start. And speaking of Method, Andy Pyro's managed to find Ninja. That's 2 big names finding a fight there. Car 98 coming through. Andy, you know what I mean? He's the kind of thunder before the lightning, right? He's the guy who will always be kind of leading the way. A very, very important player for Method. So I'm glad to see him warming into this.
Nice to see him get a headshot. The downside of the headshot at this point is that usually they're far enough away that their teammates can get them back up. You're going to see the transition right now by JP2 to make sure that he gets Ninja back up and gets him back into play. You need to have your best fraggers on their feet in this game. That said, Andy Pyro not letting up. He's watching every angle. if anybody can really cause a lot of trouble for Luminosity and take away their helmets, and that's a big deal. When you land that headshot at this stage of the game, it means later on, their best fraggers are coming in without headpieces, and that is absolutely terrible to deal with.
Now, Penta already made their move away from Georgia Pole. That was a bit of a scrap earlier on you saw going on the fight over there. It looks like TSM are taking their time. We know that they're not too adverse to playing in the blue a little bit. They're one of the teams that really kind of brought it to the forefront before. Yeah. So again, not too surprising, but they will need to make their move pretty soon.
You know, AIM will tell you,
wow,
why rush to middle when people can do your work for you? If I stay in that pocket between blue and white, I don't have to take as many fights. I can take a lot of loot and be ready to fight when on my terms.
Here we go, Moleman as well, going to claim some more players. This is good for Liquid. They're in a good spot, kind of soft cover, not too hard. They don't have buildings, but they don't necessarily need them. And again, this is central. This is just central circles closing through 75 players alive, and it won't be forcing fights just yet. It's the circle after this that is going to make things just set on fire. That's when the explosion happens. Do a backflip.
Very careful.
He didn't. Surprising that when there's money on the line. I don't know why. But this is a lovely platform. Good positioning. You do manage to keep a lot of tabs on this. You've got to be careful that you're not just kind of silhouetting with that, just the headshot showing. People will happily take that.
The upside of this position that FaZe is in is if you look behind him is a really wonderful rock formation that runs the entire court. So if you need to fall back, that ridge has at least 3 defilade pockets that are impossible to push.
It does look as though we've got a bit of a scrappy battle coming in, and Penta right in the thick of things. Ultra there. Is that, oh, he's got a corner right out. Yeah, he's in real problems. It does seem as though we're seeing a couple of these teams. I think the crowd's favorite, I think we can call them right now, doing some work. That's great stuff. Penta really suffering under their hands. It does seem as though there's still a couple of players for Penta alive, so they're not out of it just yet. But Froz, what's the plan? How are you going to get back in this? It looks like Cornshuckers are hungry for this one, and they're pushing for it.
Cornshuckers want it bad. The only option that Froz has is either to ghost or try to move around the outside and get a flank that lets him fight 1 by 1. CS, known for their skill in first person, known for their shooting, known for their love of ARs. These guys are the kind of guys who run 2 ARs because they want to do it.
Now, where's that other member of Penta? If we could switch on to him if possible, I really want to see how he's going to try and focus one out. If he just tries to bail, if he tries to run away. TSM going to slow play it. They're working their way in. That's not the story here. It does seem as though Simsy now got headshot with the punch, so taking him down. And it does it, Froz is out of there. He got a car, he bailed, and I don't blame him. But it's from one bad spot to Froz! Look at him being punished. NIP is sat there. There's so many teams around him. He does have a little bit of a cover from the defilade, so he's in a... Whoa, are you kidding me? Are you running for this? Whoa, this is cruelty. The nade comes out. He's got a Molotov too. He's just going to chuck that out and then back away. Froz is going to be okay for now. 4 times comes out on that Scar, tapping away. Froz is just going to sit here and just start sweating bullets, but he's okay for now.
He'll hunker down. He did the right thing. What he did is he fell back from the fight, looked for a flank pick, didn't get it, and saw that Cornshuckers downed his team and just exited the fight.
Yep. Oh, this is going to be fun. We've got a couple of players. Yeah, Ghost Gaming sitting in the same compound as Alliance. It's well divided. You don't need to take fights on it. But if that circle goes one way or another, it's going to cut this one up really good.
And this is a very popular. Where you see Sigsy sitting right now is a very popular house to sort of get inside and hold up to. So we're going to see if that stays central. If they have to hit the circle, they got to deal with a lot of teams pushing into them. Ninja Pajamas also in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, 71 alive. Now, can you imagine if this circle goes to the military island?
If this circle goes to Military Island, we will see an absolute bloodbath, because what will happen is EG and Ronin will probably slide over to the bridges and just hold them.
It will be very funny, at least for me, in sadistic ways. But at the moment, nothing really going to be moving too much. We said that everyone's kind of safe. There's no need to make kind of aggressive plays just yet. Teams could if they want better real estate. If they're kind of stuck somewhere bad, you could maybe move throughout it. But let's take a look where people are. So Method still locked in Pachinki. Noble locked out towards the northwest, but it what? Look at that kill feed.
That's interesting.
FaZe?
Okay.
You good?
See, sometimes you need loot, Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Just call out the team and then get screwed. I don't know what's happened. Maybe an interview afterwards.
So
like, guys,
they were taking fire from EG. We saw Ghoul firing across at them. I think that the car was lower than he thought. And when I think FaZe tried to do a little pre-fire peek and just maybe didn't quite hit it exactly right.
Well, something went terribly wrong, but we are waiting on that next circle, really, or anyone to make these kind of weird choices. TSM finally moving their way in towards that northwest side. We do have the northeast, pretty sparse, actually, on the outskirts. So TSM can find spots. They'll be fine. I hate this house, by the way. It literally makes me so sad for no reason. I know you guys don't really care about my personal feelings, but Break himself, how's he still got a level 1 helmet after being in the north of George for so long? But
yeah, just a little bit of bad luck, and again, they're just going to work that edge. The problem they run into is TSM follows a similar style as Noble when it comes to edge pushing, and they're right next to each other. So they're going to spend the rest of the game popping shots off as they both use the same strategy to move towards the middle.
Yeah, I'd like to check in on the loot that we're seeing from Noble as well, because they were, you know, I think they had like Southside George as well, so curious to see what they've got loot-wise, if they're kind of well geared. We see the 16s out there. Method, though, in a good spot. You've got at least a mini there with Leighton. You've got the Car 98 on Andy, so they've got a fair bit of range. It looks like Luminosity maybe don't have the same range capability. I don't see a single car out, but, you know, 4 times and 8 times on any of those 16s is just fine, so it's not the end of the world. But we will see now, as the circle creeps its way forward, if anyone will break in this situation. Looks like Pentafrost is still having a little bit of back and forth in IP. But it's about conserving ammo as well here. Well,
we know the circle's coming in. This is probably the biggest circle that we're going to see in this game, transition-wise. So every team, they're going to pop some shots. Right now, what you want to do is you want to take away some meds and you want to take away some helmets. So all the teams are looking for a snipe, but not a finish necessarily, because they want to slow their opponents down as they transition to the next circle, which we're going to get here in about 6 or 7 seconds as it sort of runs itself out. You can see there's the fire. EG shooting at FaZe, Nib shooting at Penta, all over the place. People just sort of making sure that no one has a chance to be comfortable on the move.
Next circle coming in, 70 alive, and where do they need to go? I want it central to be... Ooh, okay, right. So TSM, gift from the gods. Noble, happy. Method, happy.
It's the second time Method's
I want to see back on that map if we can here. It looks like FaZe has been kind of picking at from the EG guys. That's who needs to move. FaZe got to move in, tuck in, not the end of the world. NIP, Penta, AAA, all these guys, Alliance, they've all got to get moving. You can see the fire now coming in from that southeast side. Still pretty central. AAA are in their cars and they're en route.
Flamingos and Crimson are going to have a great chance to shoot at just about everybody on the map. Flamingo's already lighting up FaZe as Jempty tries to get to the inside, but it's going to be very difficult for him to deal with.
Wait, TSM are going central as well. Everyone's going central in this. They all have positions. Oh, Froz, do you want just walk away, buddy? We won't look at you. We'll ignore it. All right, didn't happen, guys. As a collective, we'll forget. But everyone's going central. Method are going to be lighting everyone up here. This is going to be intense. NIP steps away from Cloud9. Frex here is just on the other verge of this, and the peak comes in. That is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Frex is just keeping eyes around. He's trying to see if they're anyone flanking, anyone trying to make an escape. Scoom going to find some of these guys coming out here. Drassel finding Hayes. This is what I mean. And Andy, in the meantime, is going absolutely crazy. He's taking down Scoom. Chappie's kicking in. NIP are really in trouble. AAA just going to drive on past. Don't even look in that direction.
That's what you hope. You hope they distract while you make your transition. Method in such a good spot. Method can see that entire field. And remember, there's almost no cover in some of those open spots, so they've got a really great chance to take these guys out. C9 has grabbed control of this hill. It's a big hill for them if they can try to lock it in. They've used cars to block the uphill shot where they have a little bit of a risk coming from the east side, and they can hold this.
Andy's going crazy in this one, breaks in a fight, so TSM and Method right now taking fights. Break does manage to find the kill as well. Drassel still going towards DC, so they're having a bit of a tougher time here. And there you go, you see these shots come through. Hollywood delivering on all fronts, Crunch as well. McCoy here just tucking himself in and waiting this one out as best he can. Let's look at the positions. Method, Central, Wind, what the hell? Wind and Rain are just somehow in the middle of that one. AA slightly on the outskirts playing the hill game, but they are not alone up here. At least Monkey, his shot's gonna come through. He's worried, he's a little nervous.
And you'll notice TSM has actually made a pretty good push into the inside because they used the cover the last fight. Noble caught in a fight out with Ninjas in Pajamas. And as you brought up a second ago, AAA, we see Monkey right now. They're using low hill cover, no cars. They're going to slide on foot.
I much prefer this. Monkey knows that it's very unlikely that anyone's going to be coming from that open field at this point. It's highly unlikely. You're kind of safe. You're playing that soft, smart cover game. And then going to be kind of occluding yourself from the top hill. So he can make that pinch play. Yeah, X is on the other side. You kind of want to get around that. You kind of want to make the play. Hey, look at them closing in. Look at this pinch. X is kind of screwed here. Where's the rest of the team? I don't know if they're even alive here. But X, NIP are playing high ground, and X has been left alone. And I'm not sure if AA are fully aware of the positions. I want to see if X is aware of theirs. Borg and Crunch on the top hill looking down. And AA, we know these guys are out for blood. They love a good scrap. They are damn good fighters too. So
they love a good scrap, but they'll never give up the advantage in order to try to take it, right? So they're going to wait till X shows himself just like this. Monkey got the shot, forces X out of position. Now you'll see a Roxy prepare to come out the other side. They're waiting for their chance to close the deal. If they can reduce the team to 2, that means they have an advantage on the uphill push.
Yeah, needs to be a little cautious. You can see he's still worried. Oh, there you go. Shots coming back in. He's down to a one-shot here. Only level 1 armor, so if anything hits the chest, you know that's going to hurt. Borg playing covering role, trying to help out his teammate. Spots out another, but the lean. The punch is too hard. Borg tries to back away, but the support for AA is in place. Crunch has to make a dash because you're not getting out of that one alive if you hang around. And AA win the fight for now. NIP have the option to reset, run away, take the fight, get over the hill. They're still taking fights on this one.
Ninjas in Pajamas are just stuck in a rock and a hard place. They don't have a lot of places to go. If they head towards Pachinki, they get massacred by Method. If they push down, they run into AA. If they go the other way, they hit Noble and EC.
Southwest?
Yep.
Is that EG? Southwest?
That's EG as well as Noble. So both of those teams have them on all sides. Look at the top. This is a good sky cam. On top of the hill, every single side is covered. Crunch is sitting inside of a tree next to it, just praying that everyone goes somewhere else.
Well, this is going to get fun, isn't it? 59 alive now, and we're going to keep closing in towards the south side of Pochinki. A little bit of that kind of, I guess, the farm area creeping in that you kind of see towards the southeast of it, but not much. There really isn't much to play with here. TSM still on the verge, keeping them on game. Looking towards the south, Noble, excuse me, Ronin moving up as well. They're in the water right now, but there's so many teams playing the outskirts that now need to move in.
Absolutely. C9 in a good position. They built that car fort on the low ground and Defilade on the high ground, so they're in a position to sort of hold this natural fort that they've created for themselves. We'll have to see a lot of teams pushing into that. TSM, remember, they had to go through a huge fire zone to get here, and they were able to get in without taking any losses, despite pushing into EG, Noble, and other teams on that side. So kudos to them for making it there. Expect them to sort of move at the end of this circle because they're right on the edge of it. So they'll just sort of slip in a little bit and try to go a little bit deeper into this one.
Ooh, EG taking some big hits from Monkey there as well. He's unleashing on them as they try and drive past. Noble in the back as well. EG trying to make early moves, it seems, trying to get into better positions, maybe quieter positions, but gonna have some trouble at this point if he tries to move at this sort of in-between period. It looks like AA again trying to find a way down for themselves. Crunch though, affecting his teammates who just fell before. That's good work from him, but he's so aware of what's behind him and who's moving up. I've made noise. People are aware of our position. Where do I need to watch now? So much synergy needs to come out, and awareness.
Tempo Storm on the bottom causing a lot of trouble. EG's trying to make that long drive around, but every time they do, they get gate kept. Tempo Storm in one of the best gatekeeping positions in this circle, as we see Crimson also doing the same thing over on the east side as well. C9, great spot. Method, great spot. These teams are going to be the ones that we look to go deep in this tournament, or in this round right now.
EG as well. You're seeing those Car 98s. I keep seeing them switch in and out of them. You've got a player quite close by. That's not the developer. He's going to be picked up in the open high ground, favorable towards EG. They can just leave him to bleed out, or maybe put out his misery up to them. They do give away the position, but with those Car 98s, they can take fights towards
Tempo Storm. Tempo Storm knows they're there, and EG has 11 seconds to make a decision.
This guy's going in as well. He knows that Sigsy's close by. He's trying to play the angles on this car. He's going to take a wide peek on this. Sigsy, what's the plan? You've got one man with you. How's he going to play this one out? He looks, from the back. Viezi comes in the right time to deliver that.
That kill was just too easy for VZ as he made a nice little pick off. Ruined Nip's ability to sort of win this game out as he eliminates them. EG, though, still has a long way to go to get into this Tempo Storm that we're looking at right now. Tempo Storm has a great hold. The lead guy Dre is looking uphill towards where they will go, while Samti and Maluke make sure that no one comes in from where they need to have come from.
All right, now you can see the blue starting to move. The fire comes in. That's from that compound. I'm pretty sure that's Tempo Storm right here shooting towards EG. So they're going to head the way as much as they can out of the firing line and hope they don't run into another team. But it's guesswork at this point. You're seeing a lot of kills coming through. TSM holding ground as well. They're still in a good position, but it's pick your poison here for EG. There's nowhere safe. Backs could be open. Shots can come in at any point, and you're hearing them now.
Absolutely. VZ went down to Noble. Noble went down to TSM. So a lot of back and forth going on multiple sides of this circle right now. We're down to 48. I expect that to drop to about 22 at the next minute. There's going to be a ton of action here. C9, look at that work that C9 is putting in over here. Miami Flamingos just outside the circle trying to find their way in. They've got to go low and slow, but it's not going to be enough. 100 rounds goes down. EG Ghoul with a really nice grenade to try to find their way into the circle, but they are also locked out by the gatekeepers that are C9.
Yeah, they're in a really problematic position. There's got players in the blue still trying to just screw him over here. Duck can be such a nuisance. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay alive. The stim might just keep him for another second, but not for long. No, he does go down, but EG haven't been subtle about this. All eyes on them at the moment. They have no hard cover either. They're prone in the smallest of defilades.
Duck a little bit of a cheeky play there. He knew he was going down. He ducked outside, let the blue kill him instead of EG to take the 10 points away from them. So a very clean, kind of smart strategic play.
Now look at this as well. DC is still alive. Well, should I say that? Is Fausto's still alive? So keeping alive in this, keeping maybe within the top 20 would be brilliant for him. Now it looks like Liquid are going to be taking fire towards Chappie, trying to rotate in early. Look at these positions. Look at that new circle. It's closing towards just the south of Pochinki. A lot of open fields, a couple of Wizard Towers. Cloud9 are making the move for the cars. And again, Hollywood opening up. Smack's still there. They've got good utility, though, so they can build up walls in this, try and deny information, and keep in the good positions.
Liquid's in a good spot for now. If they win the circle, they're in a great spot with wide open everything around the Wizard Tower. That said, C9 made it in. They set up their car for it. And if the circle's not in Liquid's favor, Liquid's going to have almost an impossible task of getting out of that Wizard Tower at this stage of the game. But for now, they can rack up kills. This spot is a kill box, and it's a wonderful place because there's a lot of cover and no one can push you.
The best thing here for Hollywood is the fact that he's got a level 3 helmet as well. So he can actually take these peaks with some safety. Even with the Car 98, you're going to be in a decent spot here. Nice work, just keeping Luminosity on their toes. Ninja just about staying alive, living up to the name. Gets away for now.
Absolutely, a little bit of a ninja advantage as he moves around the outside. No one can take him out. They got the door open. That's how confident Liquid is right now, that they want to be able to shoot out that side too.
Curious if someone's blown that off or shot that out as well at this point. Keep them really sweating, but you're going to start seeing the teams trying to move into what has been Method's hometown. They made this theirs from the start. They've always played this way, even when Raptor was on the team. So they know this so well. Obviously, Leighton not exactly new to it either, but look at these guys working their way down from north to south, clearing them through. It looks like Gornshuckers, excuse me, CE still in this one, taking down some of the EG guys.
Liquid's getting pushed by Luminosity on the outside. There's a nice shot from Alliance. Tsm.
2 players back turn to you. You've got to be delivering those shots. Andy still doing damage. He does find Ninja in the end, despite what happened earlier. Tsm gonna find one. He knows the boom's got to be close by, but where is he? Where is he hiding? How's he getting out that bloom? This has got to be a culling. Surely Tsm's tagged up though. Takes him down in the end. Stunning work from him. Beautiful
double kill. Tracked them without fear. Even when Boom turned and looked, Tsm knew he had the advantage and just capitalized on it. So really well executed. Meanwhile, Mixie gets picked off by Luminosity here. They're in the downstairs from where Liquid was trying to hold.
Now, next circles come up. Everyone needs to move. This gets the chaos sort of area where it's just run and gun, get it done. There's so little COD cover in this. There's like 1 tower, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think Cloud9 might be in it. Yeah, they are. They're the only team right now in this one. A deflate down the middle of the road is good to work with, but no one's in a good spot here. Method to the north have to rotate down. You've got Liquid towards the northeast. You have to then cut their way in through the complete open fields.
Right.
No one's safe here.
And when you talk about the cover that is there, or the structures, that's a shack and a broken tractor.
Yeah.
So there's not much you got. C9 has their cars lined up. They're going to be able to set up a fort. Tempo Storm will do the same transition probably.
Everyone needs to play late to the circle too. Now that means it's going to be really, really chaotic by the time they all get there. You're going to have... Oh, God. All right.
So, Cloud9 needed this. They needed this circle and they needed this position because they need to get a couple of kill points, and this is going to be allowed right now because Liquid, who's their #1 threat in terms of positioning, is coming across a wide open field.
Oh, this is going to be tough. Cloud9 need to use these cards. They need to hold on to this. Sixy as well is going to stay in a good position. He can slow play it out, and he's doing so well. Sixy solo taking down 2 at this position, and he's going to be doing damage. Great stuff from him, working his way around solo here. Still putting up a great fight, still making Tempo Storm sweat. He is not letting them get away with anything. Hollywood putting up numbers too at this point. We saw him in that Wizard Tower doing damage as Cloud9 now try and make that fort, try and make it their own, scared of every angle. As that blue moves in, every team now needs to get in those cars and try and make something happen. Metal Kid just trying to look for a pixel out of place, but he's surrounded on all fronts.
TSM bringing in all 4 counters, Truckers, everyone's starting to go down. Energetic Turtle gets Hollywood out. Fosta dies outside the play zone, so that's that DC drop. Method finally gets inside, but they take absolute casualties trying to get in there. No res is available. There's the finish coming out from C9. He gets a nice knock, finishes Turtle off, and gets everybody else down.
Hollywood is doing some serious work. I don't know where this guy is, but TSM are holding on by the skin of their teeth. We're down to the top 10 here. Look at this one. FaZe still up, TSM still up, Cloud9 sitting pretty here too. They all need to start going now. They need to stim up, get ready. You can see the helmets are getting screwed over here. Smack's been taking a beating.
So what we got 1 minute to figure this out. C9 is inside the circle. TSM knows that they have to take out FaZe and they have to be able to make their push on the follow-up. Tempo Storm as well. So as all these teams prepare to move into the circle, C9 in a good hold position.
Yeah, TSM have found a little bit to work with, but they still need to move in. You can see everyone's trying to bait out everyone else. You move first. I don't want to go. Because as soon as that one team goes, it all falls apart. It sparks and it just spirals. Now, you can see AMPR knows what's going on here. 30 seconds. You want to hit some headshots, get the helmets weaker. But as soon as you take fights, you know the other team's going to hear you. So now...
TSM has to move, and the problem is that Jempty and Maluke will play spoiler on that move. And if they do that, if they take out 1 or 2 players from TSM, C9 has the potential to win this game without any challenge whatsoever. Cloud9 in such a good position. I cannot stress that enough. Look at this. Maluke down low with the uphill look. He's just going to hold that spot and wait for the push.
He's going to play that as late as he can. TSM, if I'm them, I am not running south side. I'm going northeast. It's not easy. It's just, I guess you kind of want to go south side because it's got more cover to it in theory, but you have no information on what's down there. It's such a big gamble, and look at FaZe unleashing from behind TSM. They are in such a bad spot now. This looks like it's gone down. Oh, the circle. No, it's not even the circle doing this. It's everyone else. Cloud9 still in their fortress, holding this one down. They know that TSM are screwed. Everyone else finding each other. We've got Break still up. We've got Smack still up, but not for long.
So they'll go ahead and heal. They'll wait for the final push to come. TSM's only got one guy left standing. He's outside the blue. Smack ticking down. The first A is not going to click in time.
There it is.
And C9 needed this. I think coming into this tournament, it's a solid booster in terms of confidence. It's a huge, good kill count. And honestly, what a great Fortress.
Yeah, Cloud9 played that very well too. Considering they didn't have much to work with, they played that so smart. TSM were left in that position of just got to try and stay alive, just do what we can. You can take dry fights, but you've got to land some mythical sort of shots. For what they had, they did well.
C9 never, I mean, it wasn't like they just kept gifting the circle. They had to move, they had to set up forts, they had to find defilades. They found folds in the ground that I didn't even know were folds in the ground to hold, and that was just beautifully executed by the guys, so congratulations to them.
Got to say as well, Sigsy for me was such a little hero. This guy, his teammates got caught up. Viesi was still there for a little while, but not for long. They kind of got picked apart, but Sigsy, everyone knows this guy's being one of those fraggers as well. He can be one of those to make a big difference, and he did. He stuck around a hell of a long time. Andy Pyro as well, putting up numbers. You saw him from Method there doing some really big work, but it does seem as though we are ready on the floor to hear from Cloud9 and Sims.
All right then, guys, welcome down to the pit once again. I'm here with Solid FPS from C9, dude. I mean, first of all, congratulations. Second game in, and you've got to win. How are you and the team feeling?
We're feeling fantastic. This is exactly the kind of day we wanted to have. Having at least one win the first day is going to set us really well for the next day.
One thing I've got to say about C9 so far that we've seen, you know, you guys, you've had a few team changes, there have been a few swaps here and there. How's that affected you practice-wise coming into this event?
When we switched the teams up a little bit, it did affect the practice schedule. I eventually managed to get everyone, I guess, on the same page in the last couple of weeks with me changing my work schedule and everyone making it on time for PUBG Online, all those other online tournaments. And then within the last 2 weeks, I would say our team has improved drastically off of that. So we're feeling really good.
I mean, I was watching the trials a couple of weeks ago, and obviously, out of those 5 games, you guys smashed 3 of them straight up, and it's like, okay, C9's come to play now, and we know over in North America, I think scrims have been a little bit rough, I think it's fair to say. Do you guys kind of find yourself with a North American team being a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes against the European guys that are constantly scrimming and constantly playing in these events?
Oh, absolutely. We've been complaining constantly the last 2-3 weeks now that scrims aren't happening as often as we'd like to, especially with this event coming up. So, yeah, I do feel that the NA scene is a little bit behind, but we'll see what we can do today.
All right then, so obviously, first win on the board for you guys. Let's have a talk about C9's play style. Plane's coming in, you're looking down, you're heading down. What are you guys kind of looking for? Are we going to get in a compound? Are you looking to tech fights? Or are you just kind of watching that circle and kind of thought process going through of where we head next?
We have a few opening strategies. We vary it up based on, I guess, where the plane starts, so no one can really choose to land on us guaranteed every time, let's say Milta or something. And then we're just grabbing vehicles and playing our game. I won't reveal too much more.
I mean, I've kind of watched some of you guys sometimes, and when you play, generally we get a feeling where teams are going to go, where they're going to kind of head to next. You guys, would it be safe to say you like to switch it up quite a lot between different games?
Oh, absolutely. We have to, especially in an 8-game series. I mean, let's say we won the first 4 games today. Every team that wants to ruin our chance is going to land where we're landing, so we got to switch it up.
All right then. Well, congratulations once again. Audience, everyone make some noise for Cloud9. They are winners of round number 2. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you in a second.